The banker's real business, the pattern of war, scarcity, suppression, slavery, and monopolization. In the course of the next several decades, a functioning structure of global cooperation based on geopolitical realities could thus emerge and gradually assume the mantle of the world's current regent, which has for the time being assumed the burden of responsibility for world stability and peace. Geostrategic success in that cause would represent a fitting legacy of America's role as the first, only, and last truly global superpower. By Zbigniew, I can't pronounce that name. The fact that so many ancient temples heretofore surveyed show evidence not only for a profound association with the stars through their astrological alignments and with the physics of the medium through their incorporation of sacred geometries and their location on an earth grid over nodal points of standing waves within local space, but also with the international banking through the prominent association of money changers with those temples, is an indicator that at a deep and profound level, perhaps a legacy of the very high civilization from which they sprang, these classical civilizations, through their marriage of banking and astrology, preserved the dim memory of a lost science that unified physics, economics, and finance. The blank page down there. However, we have presented evidence that this class existed in more or less unbroken continuity, both racially and ethnically, and in terms of the methods and policies it has pursued through history. Additionally, suggestive allegations were presented that at least one member family of the class, the Rothschilds, traced their lineage directly back to one of the Sumerian elite, Nimrod. In this, at least the methods surveyed have been consistent. The basic methodology of the banksters, both in ancient and in modern times, has been to substitute one notion of money for another, and thereby to usurp the power of the state to create and issue money, and substitute a private monopoly for its creation. In the former instance, the idea of money is that of a receipt for goods and services on the productive output of the state itself. In other words, money is real, and I quote, "Money is a unit of information of exchange based on the creative activity of a whole state. It is thus issued by the state itself and free of any interstate bearing debt. In the latter case, money is false. Money, or what we have called fashionable of money, is issued by a private monopoly in bearing debt, interest, and circulate as money. The fashionable of money, in other words, is a debt-bearing note, and debt under such a system can only increase and never be repaid in the first instant. It is to be noted, money represents the creation of information, i.e. units of exchange, issued in proportion to the productive output of a state, and as such, the unit of exchange represents real information in the physical world. In this instant, the connection between finance and physics is direct and overt and easily perceived. It is therefore an analog of the actual alchemical transmutative properties, ultimately of the physical medium itself. In the second instance, however, money represents almost the exact opposite, since it represents not production but an uninterest-bearing debt, a kind of negative information that can only and most inevitably grow at a rate exponentially faster than the productive output of the state. It bears, in other words, no relation to physical reality. It is a kind of false alchemy, a financial black hole into which the productive output of a state is inevitably sucked, and from which it can never emerge unless the very underlying idea of the fashionable of money is clearly repudiated and rejected. The system of the fashionables of money is, in other words, deliberately designed to enhance and enrich only those who control its issuance. It can never serve the broader public good because it is not designed to do so. And I'll read the rest later.